So, I'm going to read through the, hi, my name is Isrin. I'm going to read through all the Balance Manifesto changes. And then, I'll comment on it after, because I had a lot of feedback from you guys on YouTube saying that I stopped pausing, or I started pausing. So we're gonna, yeah, that's a lot, but we're gonna read through it. 260 includes a long list of changes to Balance. Our primary intent is to better enable a larger selection of powerful builds and skill choices. Many of the more extreme changes to core systems have been held until the fall of Orient's beta, while 2.6 will have a stronger focus on improving underused passives, weapon types, unique items, and skills, with a focus on threshold jewels. The changes will combine to create a large selection of new builds to try out. That sounds good. Improvements to the passive tree. Various improvements. Some physical to cold conversion skills have been added to the passive tree near the ranger area. This allows for skill like Ice Shot and Frostbite to have more conversions to cold than ever before. That's decent. Cold does need some love. A new weapon elemental damage cluster has been added to the passive tree near the ranger. This now allows for dexterity allowing characters who specialize in elemental attacks to invest more of their points into damage. The area between Shadow and Ranger has been made more efficient and less restrictive, which also improved the efficiency of clusters in that section of the tree. The thick skin cluster now attaches to the outside perimeter. That was pretty good. I saw that on Reddit. Mana has been added behind Mind or Matter, allowing for these builds to be better than ever before. Some claw, staff, and sword passives have received some special attention and should now be more powerful. The Vitality Void and Spirit Void cluster that grants life and mana leech attacks have been rearranged and is now attached to the outside perimeter path. The sword critical cluster has been made part of the ranger large exterior cluster. The other path of the sword cluster has been significantly reworked to grant more power. The master Fletcher bow cluster between the ranger and duelist has been removed, and the avatar hunt has been moved to its old location. Wow. Leech effect in the shadow area of the tree now leech from all attack damage, not just physical. That's huge. The lightning cluster, arcing blows, and crackling speed have been combined, and arcing speed has been improved. Master of Force, the physical cluster in Cyan area, and Ash and Frost and Storm. The elemental cluster in the Cyan area now. Oh, grants a small value of reduced reflect damage taken of their type. That's pretty cool. Many other changes have been made to pathing, positioning, and values to improve underused passive skills. I wonder if Force Shaper got done. Elemental conversion. Some unique items that converted elemental damage to other elemental damage types have had their conversion values lowered to increase the opportunity cost of total element to element conversion. Converting spells to other damage types was so easy with Pyre and Color Weather that it compromised elemental identity for many skills. Oh shit. We made it slightly easier to convert more physical damage to elemental damage for some attack skills. Frostblades and Ice Shot now 60% physical to cold conversion, up from 40. Wild Strike now converts 100% of physical damage to a random element. I'll talk about it later. Unique item rebalance. Over 100 unique items have been rebalanced with a focus on improving underused uniques that didn't have a strong role in the game. We've tried to make sure that all uniques either have a positive impact on leveling characters, act as a good item to wield when first entering maps, or have a defined role for in-game characters. We've got more changes in the future, but we managed to make changes to a significant number of older uniques. One-hand weapon damage and weapon implicits. I thought that. One-handed weapons for seeing very little use outside of daggers and specific one-handed skills. To improve player choice, we increased the base of many one-handed weapon types across the board. We've also changed or rebalanced many weapon implicits. Here are some of the major ones. Daggers now have a lower implicit value. Previously, daggers count 40, 60, or 80. I've been changed to 30, 40, and 50. Oh, wow. Lower level claw base that grant life leech now grant life on hit, as life leech has very little effect at lower levels. Mariketh Claw now has separate life and mana on hit values, as they now grant more life on hit. Mariketh Thrusting Swords have a higher chance of bleed, going from 8 to 12 to 15 to 20. Other thrusting swords have a lower critical multiplier value. Wow. Maces now grant stun threshold 10 to 15 rather than stun duration. That's pretty big. All staves have had their block values increased from 12 or 18 to 18 and 20. Almost half the one-handers and two-handed baseballs now grant flat accuracy instead of increased accuracy. This should make them more desirable for characters that don't naturally have high accuracy rating from dexterity. Area of effect changes. All sources of increased radius of area skills have been replaced with an increased area. This means rather than the area of skills increasing geometrically as the player invests in the modifiers to area skill, the radius gained per point of the stat will be lower and lower as heavy investment occurs, similar to diminishing returns. Many old radius increases that have been changed to area increases provide a higher numeric value to compensate for this change. The goal of this change is to make investing in the size of area skills to be less rewarding the more you invest, so players don't feel like they need to gather every single point of area to reach their character's full potential. As an example of how this change will work, the map mod that granted increased radius of boss skills previously granted 40% increased area of effect, but will now grant 100% increased area, which results in approximately the same increase. Wow. As many lower level skills don't have high as a base area, they will now receive an additional flat bonus to radius. An example is Blight, which gains +1 area radius every 5 levels of the gem. All values of curse radius were doubled when converted to curse area size, so it results in a similar change. As another notable change, melee splash now gains significantly more increased area than it did increased radius as the gem levels, bringing it much closer to equivalent area skills. Skill balance adjustments. A small number of skills have had their damage value adjusted. Damage increases have been applied to 2 skills we were satisfied with the mechanic of, but felt like they didn't deal enough damage. Sunder now deals more damage with its direct hit, but less damage with its secondary area of effect. Ice Crush now has its damage increased. A damage reduction has been applied to one skill that dealt significantly more damage than other skills of its type, especially after one-handed weapon changes. Blade Flurry has had its damage reduced. Everyone saw that coming. 2 Vol auras have been reduced in power. Vol Haste, lower attack cast, okay, just nerfed in general. Vol Discipline no longer grants any bonus energy shield. Vol Discipline no longer grants any bonus energy shield. There will be many more changes in 3.0 as part of the Oriath beta. Changes to existing threshold jewels. For the majority of threshold jewels, the opportunity cost of having to take otherwise inefficient passive skills made the jewels too costly for their effect. All threshold jewels now require 40 other chosen to be available in the area and no longer requires it to be allocated. Many have a maximum number of jewels of that type that can be socketed, letting us be more generous with powerful effects that would be problematic if you could fill a large portion of your tree with them. Some existing threshold jewels have had their values adjusted, and some will have additional effects. We plan to make further changes to threshold jewels as part of the beta. Here are some examples. Heavy strike threshold jewels now grant a 20% chance for double damage and is limited to 2. Viper Strike is 10% chance to gain unholy might on hit. Oh, cool. And is limited to 1 per poison stack. Vigilant Strike's threshold jewel now grants allies fortify for 20 seconds. Up for 3 and is limited to 1. Okay, so we've finished reading. We've read everything. Now we're gonna comment on things. So we've learned from the last overviews. So this is going to be my thoughts on everything. Let's start at the bottom. I wonder why we're gonna start at the bottom. Threshold jewels, very cool. I like the way they've changed it with making them. I still feel. Okay, no, it is a good way. Like the only other way to do it would be that the gems themselves just change a little 15 to 20-ish, which I think would be cool too, especially for things like Flame Dash. I'm hoping we'll see a Flame Dash threshold jewel. Val Discipline no longer grants any bonus energy shield. So I'm hoping this is their subtle way of saying that volatiles are gone from the game, but we don't know. They could just hate us. So I'm a little worried, but obviously, like, yeah, ES is super powerful compared to life. So hopefully in the beta and 3.0, we'll see a lot of life love, and we'll see some hatred for volatiles. The Val Haste one's fine. I mean, it is basically mandatory right now. It still will be. Anything that grants you speed for one socket, it's just gotta be mandatory. Any threshold drills you think would be meta? I think EK. But I don't want to speculate too much on that until I see like all of them and like the patch notes. I'm a little worried about that. I thought the nerf was bigger because the two things that have been spoiled to me was I saw like 964 million posts about Rip Wild Discipline, and then people were messaging me on Skype saying Rip Racing for Duelist, and someone said Sunder nerf. This doesn't sound too bad. Depends how much less it is. That sounds okay. It should still be usable for racing, so I wouldn't like write off Duelist for races completely. And it'll be a lot better, especially for me in the Gravicious. The Gravicious run will be a lot better now, which I currently have the record on anyway. So that is like huge for me, because I do that weird like one-handed technique where I use Sunder for the last boss as well, and then I just stay with one-handers. A lot of people swap to two-handers. So yeah, definitely very happy with that for Duelist changes. I honestly thought it would be a big nerf. Well, that could be, but still. Right. So all these area of effect skill changes, and especially the melee splash. I mean, I think most people saw that that was going to happen. It's a direct nerf to Dying Sun, really. Or it's a buff and a nerf because it makes it you can probably get away without taking a lot of the AoE nodes as long as you have a Dying Sun, is what I'm speculating. You don't need to take everything, which is nice. So like, for example, if you saw my Cyclone Slayer before, you saw me doing like Slayer, the Witch AoE nodes, and the Templar AoE nodes. Now you might not have to do that. And the Dying Sun, obviously. So now you can maybe skip out, for example, the Witch AoE nodes. That'd be interesting to see how much like more it is at lower levels and how much less it is at higher. Very cool. I'm actually happy with that. I'm very excited about this because there's a build that I used to play a lot. I don't think Dying Sun will go down in price necessarily, at least not on hardcore, just because it can like save you 15 skill points sometimes, at least in my Slayer build. But sorry, so back to the build that I really want to do. Obviously we have Bringer of Rain coming back in, right? Legacy Bringer of Rain. And I used to play Max Block, Bringer of Rain, Double Strike. And I really want to play that again. Especially if like melee splash is a lot bigger now. If there's actual like nice feeling to being melee, I will go full melee this league. I also want to play Reeve. But I always say that. I honestly feel like the biggest change for me in Reeve is the timer needs to be longer. But very, very hyped about trying double strike or dual strike. Probably double strike. So that's something I'm looking forward to this patch with Legacy Bringer Rain. That's the only Legacy item I would need as well. So I'd probably be saving up for that and buying one. I'm not realistically going to drop one. I feel like the staff changes could be bigger. Like we already had 18. Nobody was going to use the 12 anyway, most likely. So I feel like it could be 18 and 25 to 30. Like getting like decent block on staffs has been like quite an investment. So I feel like having the higher tier staff being higher would be cool. The flat accuracy change as well, very, very strong, especially for all the crit builds that really struggle with accuracy. You can like you can have a hard time getting accuracy on your helmet, rings, gloves. It can be really hard to get something good, especially if you're ES. Obviously, it's a lot easier as life. I'm still not that sold on claws. I was honestly expecting more. I mean, maybe there is. Like they said, this is major ones. I was expecting a major one for claw. I've heard some rumors about stun making a comeback. Apparently, there's gonna be like pretty cool stuns. Problem is, like, unless you can easily spec into full stun and easily stun bosses, then it's not that interesting. To me, at least. I'm sure it is to a lot of other people. Obviously, everyone has different desires for the game. Yeah, Varanastra got a big buff as well. Very excited about unique items, and I do feel like a lot of the current shit ones, obviously there are some people just instantly write off, and yeah, a lot of them could go with a buff, but there's a lot of things like, what's that not gold rim helmet called? Joffrey's? No, I can't remember. There's a helmet that gives lots of resist. So especially if like early on and if you're a new player and you don't have a gold rim, then that's a good. I think it is Joffrey's crest. There's some resist helmet. But like a lot of people shit all over the unique stuff. For example, you'll see me running by, but they're also used a lot, especially by players who are new to the game. So this is going to be even cooler now that they are rebalancing quite a lot of them. And obviously every unique doesn't have to be amazing. A lot of, like, look at Beanos, right? It gets shit on by rares in pretty much every single way, but it has like unique elements to it. And rares are a lot harder to do. Elemental conversion, I'm a little worried about this because one of the things that I usually do in the league would be, for example, Flameless Totems into Val Spark. Now, they specifically mention Call of the Brotherhood here. Even if they just mentioned conversion, that would be something I'd have to be scared about. Yeah, Honor Home, that was it, thank you. So Val Spark might be getting a 5th nerf. So that's something I would say. I'm not gonna call it, but I'm calling it. Fuck it. I think Val Spark's getting a nerf. So the thing is, you can already do Val Spark, just not shatter in high maps with just flat cold on a dagger. Like if you get tier 2, tier 3 cold, that's generally enough for up to tier 8 maps. Once you get like tier 11 and you get some bigger mobs like the big moose things, then yeah, they might not always shatter. So this means, however, something a lot of people have been speculating on lately, that Valve Fireball might be taking over. Now, obviously, a lot of people like Steox and Havoc and Gucci and a lot of other people, and I used to play it as well. I played it before the Dying Sun, though. So when I played it, I was like, it's good, but I still feel like Valve Spark's better. Now, Valve Fireball has some good things, that it requires less souls. It makes you go blind really quickly, IRLs. You don't have to worry about seeing that much. Like, all your vision problems, they'll go away. You'll basically have no eyes left. The bad thing about Valve Fireball is it's basically unplayable without the dragon effect. And if you have it on, well, your eyes are 6-7 days of playing it and they're gone. So it's a little catch-22 scenario. But I might make my thoughts on Valve Fireball in a video, but that's definitely an option. If Valve Spark gets nerfed, we'll go Valve Fireball. I shouldn't be saying this in a video. Never mind, Valve Fireball is terrible. So, oh, that is the one I was saying. Oh, no, wait, what's the other one? Force Shaper? Yeah, Force Shaper, that's the terrible one. Yeah, so a lot of these were pretty cool. Not 100% sure my brain is handling where that's going to be on the outside perimeter. So that's a massive nerf because it's way further away. There's an additional 3 points you have to invest. Well, Fireball is already way better, just saying. Do you have a Dying Sun? Do you have a Dying Sun? I bet you do. But that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with these changes. All of them, really. I don't feel like there was any like super unjust nerfs and no like crazy over the it connects there as well. Okay, cool. So it connects also, right. I mean I'm bad. I'm not good at reading. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Let's see. Talk about the reflect cluster. Trying to find it. Just search for it. Oh, that one. That is that one. As a small radius reflect. Yeah, I mean, trying to think where Master of Force is now. What? Oh, I completely misread that. Oh, cool. So that's fist reduction on the other. Okay, that is actually really cool. That's pretty big then. God damn it. Right, so thank you, Vancy, for the 9 months. And that basically sums up.
9 months.
I really wish that wasn't in the video. I forgot to turn off alerts. But thank you. And that basically sums up my initial reactions to the manifesto.